This man, it's a slow week in wrestling, hasn't it been?
No.
But in all seriousness, if you're listening to this, thank you so much for tuning into the Culture Quickie, the second installment. I am one of your hosts and producers, Jordan Ahisi. I'm joined by two of my friends, and they could introduce themselves per usual.
Hi everybody, this is Edge. Definitely not that. You know who I am, but you don't know why I'm here.
Hmm.
Say goodnight to the bad guy too. Banks.
And who else we got in the building? Who else?
Uh
I think Mo. I think Mo may be on the phone at the moment, so we're just gonna let her rock. But we're also joined by, obviously, the co-host and producer of Culture 316, Mo. And we're just here because there has been a lot happening in the wrestling world, and specifically as it pertains to the founder of World Wrestling Entertainment, Vincent Kennedy McMahon. So let me just set the tone and set the mood for y'all and give y'all a little bit of background about what's going on here. So first things first, we started to get rumblings of Vince McMahon wanting to return to the WWE as an executive chairperson. Not too long ago, after he was accused and brought up on multiple allegations of sexual misconduct. Um, he originally had stepped down as the CEO and chairman once the allegations kind of surfaced. Rumors and reports started to rumble and resonate, um, saying that he wished that he had not stepped down. And we had heard reports of Vince wanting to get back into the company. However, it was also reported that people who were on board in WWE did not want him back. And so thus he did not return until this morning, where WWE released a press release stating that Vincent Kennedy McMahon is back. The founder is back as the executive chairperson. Um, executive chairperson, and he's a part of the board of directors. Let me see if I can actually pull this press release up, because WWE actually did um, release a press statement. He said, today we announced the founder of WWE, Vince McMahon, will be returning to the board, said chairwoman and co-CEO Stephanie McMahon, co-CEO Nick Khan, and chief content officer Paul Levesque. We also welcome back Michelle Wilson and George Barrios to our board of directors. Together, we look forward to exploring all strategic alternatives to maximize shareholder value. As Vince McMahon stated yesterday, WWE has an exceptional management team in place, and I do not intend for my return to have any impact on their roles, duties, or responsibilities. In the connection, in connection with the change in the composition of the board of directors and in cooperation with Vince McMahon as majority shareholder, the company intends to undertake a review of its strategic alternatives, um, with the goal being to maximize value for all WWE shareholders. There is no assurance that this process will result in a transaction. And that's just a little bit of the press release. If you want to read the full thing, go to corporate.wwe.com. Obviously, they have been talking about a possible sale of the company, and media rights negotiations are also on the horizon. So first things first, man, this is very, very huge news. I wanted to know your original impressions, reactions, and what do you think this means for the WWE as it pertains to um, day-to-day operations and a possible sale of the company, and just overall what you guys feel about this entire situation.
All right. So I remember about a month or so ago, it was report that he was coming back. And people just, they took it for the dirt sheets, but as we see, the dirt sheets are right when they want to be right, per Sasha Banks. I know it's Mercedes, Mona, Renato, whatever it is. Hey, Vince call you Sasha Banks. I'm gonna call you Sasha Banks. So the dirt sheets are right in a sense sometimes, but most of the time they not. So I remember last month they reported that he was gonna come back, and I knew eventually he was gonna come back, not this soon. Then rambling started happening about them being bought out again. We've been hearing that for years, and then now it came to, it's starting to look like more and more now, especially that he came back. I saw a report, apparently the deal they do in Saudi, apparently they saying Saudi might be able to buy them out as well, but they got to get bought out by a different company. So it's monopoly right now. People haven't seen Succession. Make sure you watch that. But um, the company as a whole being sold, we knew it was going to happen eventually. They've made the most money they've ever made in the past 3 years alone. So they're in position right now for a bigger play. I think they're projected to be worth about $4.9 billion or something like that. So who- whoever buys them, whether it be NBC or Disney, more so NBC because uh they already had a deal with USA Network, which is under NBC. The only thing is now they got to figure out the Fox contract because I think that's up until 2029. They would have to figure out how to get out of that. But I mean, it was for $1.5 billion. So, that's pocket change at this point if they get bought out or if NBC pays the bill or however it works. But in a sense, yeah, I think at this point in his life, because he is near the end of his life, any day could be his last, God forbid, or whoever he worship, probably Satan forbid. I don't know, whatever he might say. Uh, Not me, of course. We ride with God over here, but whoever. But he's to that point now where it's just like, all right, bro, if I'm gonna leave in a certain accord, let me book it the way I want to, and then let me sell the company. And that's all. It's just business. It's him gonna take creative control, yes, but he more so doing this for the business. And then probably after they sell it, he take back full creative control. But I think that's gonna happen in general.
I thought I wasn't. I thought I was muted. Regular stuff. But that's a very, very interesting take. I don't know if Mo's available at the moment, but I definitely want to hear her side on things. Mo, you still here? You still?
I think right now she taking that phone call, brother.
Yeah, I think she's taking that. Well, I'll give my initial reaction. Obviously, this comes as a very, very big surprise. I mean, there were rumors and rumblings of Vince and two board members of his choice kind of being brought back on board with WWE. However, you know, considering everything that's happened this week already in wrestling between Mercedes debuting and Okada and Kenny teaming up and the new look for AEW, it's just been so much. So to think that this would happen is just still very much jarring. And considering all the rhetoric that we've heard from dirt sheets and journalists about WWE higher ups and executives not wanting them back, it's just really, really interesting and really, really like jarring once again. Um, so I think that's like the first thing. I think the second thing, I kind of agree with where you're at. This is more so about the business of everything. I think that Fox and USA have both expressed extreme pleasure in the work that Triple H has done since him taking over Vince's creative role. And fans at large have been very, very satisfied with his creative
mm,
direction. I think that Vince understands that while he does want to take creative control because that's his heart, that's his passion, that's his pride. I think he understands that if he were to take creative control, it would do more harm than good. Just based on the fact that Hunter is making everybody happy right now. The network execs are happy. The talent is happy. The executives in WWE internally are happy. So getting in the way of that would damage the good rapport that has been developed that's ultimately making WWE more valuable. Now, as far as why Vince wants to be back on the board, I think it just boils down to the coin. I think it just boils down to the money.
mhm,
Um, like you said, WWE is the most valuable that it has ever been. And when we talk about media rights negotiations, when we talk about a potential purchase at stake, this is business and you want to go with the route and the way that you've always done and that you've always had. Vince has been in more of these meetings than most of us can count. You know what I mean? Every 4 years, 5 years, he's the one that's negotiating and he's the one that's having a major hand in it. And if they want, bigger deals for their media rights, or if they want to potentially sell the company, I feel like it's only appropriate for Vince to be there. Now, as far as the creative control aspect of coming back to the company and being involved in the day-to-day operations, they said that he won't be. Personally, I strongly oppose that. But it's because of the allegations of the sexual misconduct. I just don't believe that it is appropriate for him to return in a creative role in which he's interfacing with the young women of the WWE, considering that he has had a very, very checkered past with a lot of the women in that company. And I just, when you want to build good culture and good rapport, you want to keep the negatives out, the positives in. And I think that Vince returning in a way that would he would have to have a creative leadership, he would be having to interface with people who may or may not be comfortable with him being there. So I think that it is probably best for him to, if it's just a matter of selling the company, let him stay in the boardroom, and let him negotiate at his own will and his own discretion and just keep it there. But I think that there were a lot of people kind of overreacting to this on the internet. Like they were just like, oh my God, that means that Triple H is going to be out of power. And, I think all of that, is, reasonable. And I think that based on Vince's pride or his pattern of being prideful, definitely, you can definitely see why, people would think that. But I think that, he's really there for his coin. He's there for his bag. And they, even with Vince and the other two board members, they do not have the power to override Hunter, Nick Khan, Stephanie McMahon, and the rest of the board, who majority of them either have been appointed by Hunter and his regime or have good relationships with them. And so I just think that the day to day is not going to change, but it should be very, very interesting when it comes to these media rights negotiations. But Mo, I definitely wanted to hear your take on this and how you feel.
Well, first of all, I don't trust that man. Like, I understand your point of view and I completely respect it. But I really feel like if it was up to Vince McMahon and he wants to like take over or he wants to tweak a few things, I feel like he would because I feel like he can't help himself. He can't help himself. Like, I feel like he's just naturally very controlling. And yeah, I understand that he wants to get his coins up and he wants to obviously take full ownership of this company. But I honestly understand why the internet overreacted because he has proven time and time again, even with like a whole room of writers, that he rather just take control of everything and have everything go through him and have things done his way. So I feel like maybe for a short time he may be hands off, but I do not believe that he's going to be 100% hands off and let Hunter take over. Like, I don't see it. You know what I mean? Shit, when I saw that news, the first thing I thought to myself was like, damn, do I gotta like come out and say that Vince did something to me, bitch? Like, you know what I mean? I don't trust this man, but I just feel like you gotta let everything play out. Like, I feel like, sorry, I just heard a voice. I just feel like you have to just let everything play out. But otherwise, I don't know. I'm keeping like one eye open because I don't trust him. I don't. But I feel like we're gonna see it. Everything's gonna come full circle when it's time for WrestleMania to happen, and we'll see if we see any of his fingerprints placed anywhere.
I,
That's just
I
my take.
I agree on that for sure. We do have to let everything play out. What I will say is, I think it was very, very childish of him to say, "Well, I'm not going to approve a sale unless I'm essentially in my chairman position." I felt like he was playing hardball. I felt that was a very dirty, low ball move. Um, but like, it's Vince McMahon. This is part of the brand. And I honestly don't like, based on who's in the room, between Nick Khan, who has had multiple experiences negotiating big money deals for multiple entities. You have Triple H, who has been in the room with Vince McMahon as he was negotiating these deals. You have Stephanie McMahon, who respectfully has conducted her own business and done her own deals. You have three people who are more than competent and more than capable enough to take care of business the way that it's supposed to be taken care of. And for you to kind of step back in and kind of assert yourself and say, well, I'm not going to approve a sale unless I'm involved, I think is a red flag. But like you said, Mo, I think we do have to just kind of wait and see everything play out. I was gonna ask Vince's lawyer over here
Hey
if
man, they
he had
can't see the
anything to say.
name now. You done snitched on me, man. Hey, I'm trying to be the beige Better Call Saul. You feel me?
The Beige Better Calls.
You know, told my name, my alias, and all that. I got 1,000 more, so good luck. Uh, I'll say this: two things about that. Number one, I understand because this is his baby. It's his grandfather's baby, if I'm not mistaken, or at least his pops. I think didn't his grandfather own WWF at first, or was it just senior?
I think it was his father,
Okay, I don't know
if
why I
I'm
keep
not
thinking it
mistaken.
was like he's the third generation to own the company, but regardless, it's like okay, my pops created this company. I took it to a level nobody would ever think pro wrestling to go to. Now I'm trying to take it to a whole nother level. I'm the only mind that could do this.
Mm,
This my pops company. I didn't even know my pops until I was older, being him. He didn't know that was his dad until he was like 18 years old, 17, somewhere around that. So it's like it's
mm,
the legacy factor involved. He got a lot of grandkids. It's like, yo, we trying to build generational wealth. Like not pocket count, but
mm.
Floyd Mayweather just said that, he about to start making $300 million a year from property. It's like
Phew.
people say how much money is enough money. It's never enough because you got to think about who's going to have the same mindset as you in your bloodline long term. Everybody love Roman Reigns, head of the table for a reason because he's that one to feed the next generation. So in the case of Vince, I understand why he's doing it because it's his baby and nobody else could probably get this business done and take it to where he wants to take it long term financially. Because
Mm.
once he gone, that's it. People might not have the same mindset. Number two, they definitely gonna need him for WrestleMania because ain't no way y'all gonna sit up here and tell me the person that created WrestleMania, the person that created WrestleMania, if he not booking it, somebody else gonna book it better than him? I think not. Because if Triple H is there, he gonna make it real hip hop. He probably gonna have Bray Wyatt go against I don't know, some mysterious stuff, some Karrion Cross. He might have Brock Lesnar go against Gunther, which would be fire. But instead, now we probably gonna get Brock Lesnar versus Logan Paul, or Logan Paul versus Bad Bunny, because now if the company is sold around that time, it's gonna bring more eyes. Also, too,
Mm.
everybody want The Rock. I don't. I don't give a damn about The Rock in 2023. Dwayne, whoever he call himself.
You don't want to see him come out with Tech Nine?
Why did everybody keep referencing Tech Nine around me? What's going on? If this is something I'm missing, did I say somewhere I'm a Tech Nine fan? I feel like people putting a curse on me. I don't listen to that. I don't want to curse because I'm in front of Jordan. I don't listen to that type of music, and I don't want to say nothing wild, so I ain't gonna say nothing. But yeah, definitely, if you listen to Tech Nine, you definitely wear jorts, Team Jordans, and when you drink a little beer,
Shorts.
you probably really say and do wild stuff. I'll just leave it at that. Uh, but back to my point before this woman cut me off. Uh, so it's just right now. If you want, there we go. See the CT, and she messing me up. The Rock. If you want the Rock there, somebody gotta fit the bill for that. You know why? He's
Mm.
the highest grossing actor ever, far as his movies, over $5 billion, however much it is. Guess what that means? He got to get his 20 million or so just to wrestle. Yes, he got to get that. The same as he would for his movies, he got to get somewhere around that. Then you got the insurance policies for the production company. Then you got you got the insurance policy for these studios he worked for. So whatever studio he
Mm.
got deals with, that's the insurance policy. So you about to spend probably $50 million or so just on the insurance policy of if he gets hurt, you're gonna have to cash this out because it's gonna push production back. So if people really want this rump that they've been talking about for years, and I don't care about it, and I don't want to see it. If people really want this Roman Reigns versus The Rock match, y'all gonna have to take a L. Hey, in the words of the great Drake, can't have everything, but I want everything.
Mm. I'm not gonna lie, that's probably like the best way to end it. Cause what a bar, what a line. Also, sidebar. Apparently,
Period.
apparently, Hit Row just turned heel, but
They
No.
wasn't heel before. He dressed like an N1
Nah,
character,
they was-
AJ Francis.
Yo.
NBA Street 3 created character looking boy. Man, you've been heel.
Okay. This is where we're gonna end it. Enjoy y'all weekend. We'll see you guys next week on episode 25 of Culture 316.
It'll be called
If you
Triple
haven't
H Trick,
streamed,
y'all. Bring back Vince.
oh my.
You need to be stopped.
Have a good weekend, y'all.